Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. It's back.
Woo! It's showtime!
And welcome back to another amazing episode of the Greycast. I am the greatest Grey boy himself, Brendan. And today this is gonna be a short but sweet one. Because this is breaking news. At the time of me recording this, the NBA has just officially approved of their return to playing basketball. And we are set to have our first game, as of right now, July 31st. It's going to be a 22-team format, 13 of which will be from the West Coast. The remaining teams will be from the East Coast, because as we all know, East Coast basketball is not where it's at. So this is huge. I don't know the exact determination of who's spotted where yet. I think that remains to be seen. But this is a big deal. Other than NASCAR and a couple of friendlies in Europe for soccer, this is the first sport that's going to come back. It's about damn time.
It's about damn time.
I'm just really happy, just to know that even though so much has happened, so much has changed, it's just nice to know that it's back. Not for nothing, this was one of the better NBA seasons that I could think of. The Lakers were on a tear, the Clippers were playing so well, the Bucks were doing great. Giannis looked like he was going to have another MVP season, maybe even Defensive Player of the Year on top of that. Some great rookies coming into the league this year. And even with Zion, who's supposed to be the Rookie of the Year, the new face of the NBA, not even being the best rookie out there, which is really wild. So it is interesting, though, because there's 30 teams in the NBA, and 22 now get a chance to play. So only 8 are left out. Of course, that would include the Knicks, who couldn't make it if they were paid to make it. If they were giving every opportunity in the world, they would still mess it up. But for the other 22 teams, it looks like they're going to start, working out on their own. I know most players have been working out at home anyway, and some NBA facilities have actually been open for their players to go to in cities that are already well on their way to, openings with everything going on with COVID. Some cities have been open longer than others. I'm in New York, and we're set to open phase 1 of our, reopening this upcoming week, while other cities across the country have been open for a couple of weeks already. But I'm guessing that everyone's going to have time to gather at their own training facilities over the next couple of weeks. And then what's going to happen is probably the beginning of July, everyone's going to head down to Orlando, because it looks like all these games are going to actually take place in Orlando on Disney World property, because apparently Disney has this whole, all these major sports facilities. I know there's a lot of baseball tournaments that go on in Disney World or right off of Disney World property. And apparently the same could be said for basketball now. So it looks like all these basketball games are going to be held on Disney property, which is pretty wild. So there's going to be 8 regular season games that will be played to determine who gets in and out. So some of these 22 teams won't actually make the cut. A couple are going to be sent home within those first 8 days or so. But then the rest will go into this 22 game format. You get the idea. The rest will go into an actual playoff format. But since it's not the same amount of teams, West and East, I'm guessing it's going to be from top to bottom. So I'm guessing whoever finishes 1 will play. It'll probably be 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, kind of like a March Madness bracket. But long story short, more than likely, this year's NBA Finals is going to be 2 Western Conference teams. It's been something that I've talked with, friends with in the past. How great would it be if the NBA went into a format where it wasn't East versus West? Because we've seen a lot of finals in the last decade or so. Not all of them, but a lot of finals where the Eastern team, Even though they were the best in the East and they rolled their way through the Eastern Conference playoffs, they get to that NBA Finals, and the team that won from the West is just 10,000 leagues better than them. We saw it with a lot of 3 out of the 4 Warriors Cavaliers finals. There were 4 years in a row that those teams played each other in the finals, and the Cavaliers only managed to win one of those. The other 3, they got absolutely wrecked. The one series they won, it went 7 games. It went down to the final minute. And we've seen that in other, series too, where, the Lakers would steamroll over their opponents in the 2000s. The Spurs, for the most part, steamrolled over their Eastern Conference counterpart. Even the Mavericks beat up the Heat that first year. When the Heat were the favorites, they got beat around by the Dallas Mavericks. So more than likely, and this is something so crazy, your NBA Finals is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Los Angeles Clippers. And that's something that's been people's wet dream for this entire season before COVID-19 even happened. So now that it is going to happen, more than likely going to happen, just oh my God. Now, obviously, a couple of Eastern teams can, try their best to change that up. It's nice to see that Brooklyn is getting a chance to, make this playoff run. They're not going to make it to the finals. Although it'll be interesting to see if Kevin Durant decides to play, because he sat out this whole year because of an injury. But now that the season's been delayed and the Nets have a chance for a playoff run, who knows if he'll, maybe do limited minutes. That'd be really great to see. That'd just be good for the league. Toronto, I don't think they have it again. They're missing Kawhi Leonard, so that's going to hurt them. So I think it comes down to, can Milwaukee get all the way through this tournament? It's going to come down to them. They have all the right pieces, and they have arguably the best player in the league. So we'll see. But like I said, my prediction would be that Lakers are going to finish 1, Clippers are going to finish 2 or 3, and they're going to wind up seeing each other in this year's NBA Finals. And I think, I don't have the date in front of me, but this is going to go on for a while. I mean, the finals would have been going on right now, basically, which is crazy to think about. We could have been watching the Lakers or the Clippers playing someone from the Eastern Conference. But in a weird twist of fate, we've been blessed with a new playoff format, which, depending on how this goes, the NBA might just use it moving forward. Because like I said, the Eastern Conference, even though they send 8 teams, usually the 8th place team in the West probably could make a run against like the top, like teams like 3 through 5 in the East in a playoff format. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm just happy that I get to watch basketball again, get to see, inside the NBA, which is arguably the best sports show out there. Just to hear guys like Mike Breen and Marv Albert. It's just going to be exciting. And even though it's going to more than likely be in a completely empty arena, I don't care. I want it. I'll take it right now. I think that's going to do it for today. Like I said, this was just kind of short update for what's going on. Thanks for listening. And on that note, we are out.